reporting live from Rabbit's Ave. There you go.
Good morning on Wednesday's edition of Crypto and Coffee with the Trading Bros. I'm your host, Clutch Crypto.
And Baby Wellington reporting live from a Rabbit's Ave.
We've we went to we pumped yesterday. Well, and we went up. So I mean, basically our hypothesis was correct for the most part. So let's dive into the charts today and see what we can come up with. Back to you.
Okay, well let's hop in. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of difficulty today with my setup, but you know what they say: new problems.
Means you're growing.
I'm always growing, pal.
And modern day problems require modern day solutions.
Let's look at our.
What is up with this? Why do they keep trying to cut us off? Oh my God, really?
Was it going to do? I don't know what you're talking about. Kind of, sort of. We said it was going to pump. It was going to pump in the beginning of the week.
Hey man, I can't see you.
Pump to the upside. Again, what did we say? This was going to chase off some of these shorts that were
Hold
building
on,
pretty heavy.
wait. Something, something's not right.
What's happening? Has somebody hacked our stream because we're telling the truth so much that they're trying to already bring us down? Is this a Malcolm X moment?
What the fuck?
Get your hand out of my pocket.
Hold on, I'm trying to.
Are you in a trade? Are you managing your trade right now? Hold on, I need to add some more money to my Bybit account.
No, my. Uh, it went to the other screen.
It went to what screen?
I got a notification that this has ended, and here we go. All right, I fixed it.
Are you doing okay, Richard?
No,
Richard?
I need to quit waking up 2 minutes before the show. Okay, anyway, on a further note, let's dive off into this.
If I edit this, I'm leaving all this in.
Actually, I do need you to edit today, by the way. Okay.
Better?
Yeah, we're good. Please proceed.
So we've moved up, obviously. Here we go. So we've got some good movement to the upside. This is exactly what we said it was going to do. We penetrated this trend line here. So the fact that we had a vector along this trend line was just the fact to get through all the orders that were placed here. Because I believe you had a lot of folks that were going short from this area. And I think that was probably caused by, this double tap, right? And people thinking it coming back down. And it comes through there with some velocity, with some speed, gets back up to this downward trend line, which is the 800 on the hourly. And it seemed to reject it somewhat. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. If it does, we start to get some vectors in this area, especially those vectors that come up on the 1 hour. I would anticipate us breaking through this area, this 800 EMA. We've got some additional, not this line here, but this line here is another area of resistance. And so these larger, what you would call high volume nodes, I would consider to be resistance area, and the fact that they're going to come here, accumulate for a while, and then decide whether or not to break on through or come back down and fill these lower volume nodes, depending on what, how the trades, how traders are, where the liquidity is at in the chart. But we do have these vectors down here on shorter time frames. We go down to the 5 minute. We're waiting on the futures open in 10 minutes, but we come right up to this line. This line was here this entire
Double
time.
tap. That's the double tap.
Yeah, but this is on the 5 minute. So, but we're looking at, coming up here where it taps in, you would expect a lot of folks to be trading off of this line as well, because this is another trend line drawn in.
You think for a
And
short or
so,
for a long?
probably with the momentum that it got up to this line with, a lot of people were looking for a breakout here because of the momentum of getting up here real quick. And so if you've got folks that are also going long, then you have a pullback here, a retest of it, a pullback to take out stops. We could then potentially move back up, right? But with this aggressive move down, of course, this is on the 5 minute.
I'm gonna short this bitch.
I think that, hey man, this is a family show. You can't be, I'm going to short this bitch. Look at the look on your face, man. Come on. You're so happy about wanting to short this. And I will admit, I'm going to fade most moves to the upside, especially when you get into these areas. We've just broken out from this zone. We've tapped this downward. So again, we haven't broken through. What I think we should wait for is the fact that futures market opens in 8 minutes. We can then see what the activity is in the beginning of that session, see if we've got some vectors that are coming up to this upside. And even with vectors coming to the upside, I mean, I'm talking about vectors on the 1 hour that show up on the 1 hour, not necessarily vectors that are showing up on the 5 minute, because, we've got vectors here. But the fact that we've touched here, pull back slightly, right? We may come back up during that beginning of the future session, that fake move, and then pull right back. Again, these are the times of fuckery, right? These are the times of,
Hey man, this is a family show.
hey, you started it.
I didn't say that for her.
Which anything, bitch and fuckery, are we grading curse words now?
There's certain things you can't say on live TV.
We're not on TV. We're on a computer. That's a whole different.
Like cocaine and hoes.
The cocaine and hoes.
Boats and hoes.
Man, look at gold. Gold's retracing after some big highs. I'm just going to go into it because I really want to see what the market's doing now. Gold is back below 2,000, so we've got gold dumping, which means that risk is most likely back on. We've got treasuries that are going up. This is all pretty consistent. Treasury yields, when they go up, that's a signal that money's flowing out of them. And so we can see what that looks like. These are all pretty consistent. What's not consistent, this is consistent as well. So this is a USDT chart. I know, your favorite chart. We've got this wick down here that's going to be recovered. So we know we're going to at least get down to this amount here.
So if we get down to that amount there and we break lower, expect to see higher prices for crypto.
Right. So, but we do have the cross, right? So all this, but we have the setup. We do have the setup on the 1 hour for.
I'm feeling this is a long track and setup for just everyone. It's going to end today, folks.
So if
Get your shorts
out.
on.
Yeah. I mean, we know about the setup, and it we won't go into too much detail.
It's money.
It's happening at least, and on the 1 hour, we got some time though. This just means, this means that potentially Thursday, which is big news day, we'll look at that in a minute, and the fact that this move just started, so they're going to keep the price up here for a minute because they want to attract more longs. I mean, Jesus, we're still in a war, right? We still look at, futures. Futures are up, baby. What's going on here? Those Ukraine calls for ceasefire for urgent Chernobyl repairs. I mean, all the headlines are pretty negative. I think this is just to keep folks
hopeful. This is hope. This is nothing but hope,
man. This is so much. I mean,
ladies and
we got the other pump all the way up to 3,000. We're not even halfway there yet to the pump that we had last week.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a prime example of how the narratives control the market.
This is all of the fuckery. Sorry, I said it again. But look,
Beep,
so we are on the ninth. We had
beep.
job openings. Job openings comes out at 10 a.m. Quits. I don't really see this as
Yeah.
big news. Yeah, here's the big news.
Yeah.
Initial jobless claims, right? Which this number I think should be come out positive. What you really want to look at is this core CPI, right? This
The
consumer price
budget
index.
deficit down there at 2 p.m. Yeah.
Federal budget deficit.
Uh,
I mean, we expect these. To me though, the federal budget, similar to things like the trade deficit, markets really don't react to. They're going to react to CPI. They're going to react to CPI, and so that could be the turning point. That will be the futures market open tomorrow. So that could be the turning point. We just don't know, but I think it will be. I said it here first. We go to and I'm not even looking at Bitcoin today, man. There's so much stuff on Bitcoin right now. We should be the Ethereum guys, man, because Ethereum guys, NFT guys, those guys that have bought at 300 and they've gone up to 3,000. Those are our guys, new guys with a bunch of money. And I know a guy that has a bunch of Ethereum, just bought it by chance, and all of a sudden it goes up, and he has no clue about the market, has no clue about crypto, just decided to make a random buy, which I think there's a lot of those folks out there, but I think Ethereum deserves more attention.
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I think the numbers are more in favor for better returns for Ethereum with some of the, I would call not safe haven, but the stableness, not going away tomorrow, mood of Ethereum. Shout out to ADA as well. So open interest has, of course, risen with this pump that we've had. It's so crazy how the OI returns so quickly on pumps like this.
I know, right? We were talking
So
about that yesterday
yeah, so we've got
when I
OI
called the pump before it happened.
that's that's engaged. This is a chart I was looking at it earlier. Um, let's see if we can just refresh a little bit. So we've got spot that's buying. Obviously, here I would expect a lot of these to be shorts that have closed as far as and longs as well that have closed, with shorts that are covering, longs that have closed as this kind of the shorter term decline. This is the 1 hour.
You were
Here
part
we
of
got-
that, weren't you, when you started closing out part of your short position
No, I was closing out part of my short position
down there?
down in this this area,
Well, that's good.
right? And then, but I still have short that's open, and I have added to it to bring that piece of it. So I'm still short the market. I say that though.
You're the bear.
I have a small holding portfolio. So the way I'm thinking about it is, I'm really net long right now, right? With building a hedge on the future side, right? So because I am long some spot, so I'm going to start looking at it that way. I'll feel better about when I miss moves and whatnot to the upside. I'm really participating just on the spot side. So this is so if we go back to Ethereum here. If we go to funding rates, which we like to look at,
Negative.
no,
Nothing.
it's positive across pretty
It's
much across
flat.
the board, right?
It's
Yeah,
flat.
but it's flat, but longs are paying short, so let's not negate that, especially if you're in a position, right? So
I'm
my
not-
short will
I'm
my
not-
short will be getting paid. Thank
I
you very
am.
much.
I'm not biased about any of this morning
Thank
because
you,
I'm currently
Longs.
not in a trade.
Thank you, longs. Yeah, but you're looking for one. Thank you, longs, for the payment. I paid y'all last week. You can pay me now. So here we are. So I would say that we're pretty pretty positive. I mean, we got some flatness around here, but we've also have some aggressiveness in some of the other exchanges, especially on the coin margin side. So I think we've kind of looked at everything. We looked at I do have EXO charts pulled up. I'm not going to refresh this, but as you can see, we have POC at 2623. We're up here on this higher volume node. We're kind of hanging out in this area. We were kind of in this area, so if we do break down, expect us to get back to this 2614 range. It generally comes back to these, higher volume areas, where there's a lot of buying. And so I see that, we get attracted to this area. Normally, there's also somewhat of a slingshot effect. So if it does start to come to this area, you'll see it drop back below before kind of stabilizing here. That slingshot, if is enough, it'll bring it all the way down into these areas before it moves back up, or holds in this area and then breaks back down. Shorts are building again. And we're right there on the VWAP. So I'd be interested to see what some of our other charts say as it relates to Bookmap and High Block.
Well, let's jump right into it and see what we can find out.
Let's go ahead, Dick. I mean, Richard. Dick Crypto for short.
You guys can call me whatever you want. Slide this up over here. Can you see the screen?
Not yet. Well, I can see the screen, but there it is.
All right. Whoa! Wow! Look at this. I haven't looked at this morning. This is the first time for me. This is really interesting. As you can see, we don't have anything really left up here, and we're already starting to trade the top part of this range right here as well. So we have a few things up here at 2830, mid 2800s, and then we have all of this that goes all the way down to 23, high 2300s. So very interesting to see how basically this just all got wiped out yesterday. I mean, because we were down in this range yesterday morning. Something doesn't look quite right with this. Let me refresh this one.
Yeah, it looks like there's like a gap. There's a gap in the chart.
We call that a glitch. Let me go to.
Call that a glitch.
Let me go to the. I have both charts here. Let me just run this other one. Maybe this will fix it. No, that's funny how these just kind of disappeared. Or, well, I mean, I guess we got all the way up and kind of clean house. So look at this. As you can see, right here, we were down here yesterday morning when we were doing the show. As you can see, we went up and we basically just filled this all out. It does look really good. As we mentioned in the news, there was one article I read this morning on Market Watch that talked about, one of the forecasters was bearish and is now bullish. They're going to be trying to drop as much hopeful news as they can to get retail back on board before they come back for another plunge, which we're expecting to happen, by pretty much market open tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I mean, with the news that's coming out, it wouldn't surprise me.
So I actually, with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if we hang out in this range, just range, kind of like we did midweek last week. Even maybe go up just a little bit more to really lock those people in. I see things, up to possibly as high as, right now, 2,900, and then we can look on Bookmap, see where the orders are right now for the heavy walls. But absolute worst case, I remember there's a big liquidation up there around 27, something like that area. I actually have a short there. The bad thing about High Block is if you don't lock in, you don't mark the big orders, they kind of disappear after a while. So there was a big order up there at the 29, right before we broke the crest of that last peak. So pay attention. We get up in that area. Also pay attention. There's a peak up there, you know, if we break past that peak, you can bet we're probably going to go on a nice run up. However, if we don't, go ahead and anticipate this downside, which we're anticipating to happen in the next 24 hours. Sliding over here to Bookmap. This is ETH on the Binance chart. Maybe, I don't know. Here we go. All right. Okay, cool. So you can see up here, CBD kind of peaked. We're kind of getting back up to that peak again. However, price is not up there in this area with it. We're pretty much neutral as far as the weight of the orders go. And then as you can see, you were talking about 26 what for POC?
For POC, 2614, somewhere around there. No, wait, hold on. Let me 2623. So like 2625 area.
Yeah, so you can see there's a little wall right here. You know, a lot of orders be popping up and down here. This 3,000 range here, as you can see, has got, you know, a heavy wall up here. So I do anticipate us maybe getting up into that range that I possibly talked about, but that may just be a wick. But us breaking through 3,000, you know, that doesn't look likely at all. But what does look likely is we are bouncing around here on this VWAP. We'll see what happens once they make a decision here. Probably shortly. Market's just open about 7 minutes ago. And then just kind of pay attention to what happens. I do think again we're going to kind of just be ranging. You know, as you can see, we have some walls up here at 2,800. We break through that. The big key area to see if we're going to be moving up is going to be if we break this 2780 area. So pay attention to if we break that, we'll probably go up to 2,800. And then from 2,800, just kind of pay attention to what happens when we get into that area. As far as breaking down, if we break down below the VWAP 2,700, I would expect us to probably swing down back into that low 2,600 range that B. Wellington was talking about earlier. And then kind of seeing what happens once we start touching those areas. So again, more consolidation today, maybe a slight small moves to the upside. I don't think we're going to see anything drastic today in the New York market.
Yeah, no, I would agree with all of that. We're kind of just bouncing around in this range. You know, if you look at it on the higher time frames, it's almost a kind of a wedge coming together, and it's holding, you know, within these within these trend lines. So, you know, we'll have to see where it breaks out to, but any move to the upside, just in my opinion, any move to the upside is going to be
danger zone,
trappy. But in that sense, you know, it can be trappy, but also if enough people think it's trappy, then it'll continue to the upside, right? And so again, not to, you know, we're pretty confident in the fact that we think it's going to go down because of all overall macros. But you always have to be willing to also say, okay, well, it could also go up if too many people are on that side of the trade, and it could continue up until enough people are on that side of the trade, meaning in a positive mode, before they rip it back down. So, you know, part of it is, you know, everybody's was negative about things with the war, the fact that we've got positive news coming out, you know, not to get off subject, but part of the positive news, not only was this for crypto, was the fact that it's going to be regulated, which, you know, people knew that it was going to be regulated, you know, forever. And it's not even that it's regulated with this new executive order. It's mainly to give, you know, the different agencies the authority to do some of the things and initiatives that they've probably been talking about for the last year. But also, so that's not new news, right? And yeah, that's positive for the market, but in what time frame? And so the other piece of that is, you know, the market's up overall, NASDAQ as well, on this IEA says they're going to come out and produce more barrels of oil. I mean, oil's still at $123. You know, it hadn't come down at all. Gold's come down, but all of a sudden, you know, the market is, you know, celebrating, quote unquote, celebrating all this news.
Did you know that Russia is number 3 in crude oil production in the world?
Yeah, and 40% of that is headed to Europe, right? And so, even though, you know, the United States in general doesn't, you know, use as much of that oil, you know, people are saying, oh, you know, we're going to cut ties, whatever, whatever. Europe's going to have a hard time cutting out 40% of their energy coming from Russia. And then the other players that are out there, OPEC, you know,
Well, I mean,
Saudi and
you have
everybody else.
Saudi and you have us as the top two, and I don't see how we could just ramp up our production and put this crude oil on ships and ship it over to Europe, and now we're exporting and bringing all of our you know, oil prices down, but we can't do that because that's just not how the cycle works.
Yeah, and the Saudis aren't looking to do us any favors, right? They've already declined comment on the Ukrainian situation. They've so as much as the IEA wants to go out and try to release barrels, one, it hasn't had any impact on prices. Two, it could be, you know, there could be some reactionary from OPEC relative to putting all the supply outside of what they're providing, because you know they're a coalition that's supposed to make money and things of that nature. So it's definitely interesting. This pump, you know, we expected it, right? We said that it was going to pump. It pumped. The question is, will it continue? I just don't know. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think it's I think it will be short lived if it does.
I mean, I guess part of it is, man, the liquidity that's coming out of the commodity market, you know, that side of things, there's just, I don't know. It's
This might be the decoupling moment that we were talking about yesterday on the show.
Yeah, I mean, that probability says no, but it could be. Right?
All right, guys.
Anyway, that's our takes for today.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for today. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same